Today we are going to talk about a mystery that shocked the world and left more questions still unanswerable: the Titan Submersible disaster. If you've heard of this, then you know this was widely covered on all news networks. For sure there are a lot of theories on it, so let's separate the fact from fiction. Let's break it down step by step in this video, looking at background, possible causes, and what really happened, with the shocking truth behind the incident. Let's get into it. First, the Titan Submersible. For those who may not know it, the Titan was a privately operated submersible belonging to OceanGate, a company that specialized in deep-sea exploration tours, including visiting the Titanic wreckage. The submersible was designed to dive to extreme depths, 12,500 feet, or nearly 3 miles down to the ocean floor. It could carry 5 people, the pilot and 4 passengers, on these thrilling and expensive expeditions. June 18, 2023 was like any other regular Titan dive, heading to the wreck site of Titanic in the North Atlantic Ocean close to Canada shores. It all seemed to look like a standard expedition. It did not in any way tell what had so terribly gone wrong. The submersible lost communication with the surface after exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive and turned dark. As days passed by, hopes of their safe return slowly washed away. The world shook with horror. It did not take much time before the story went round the world. The search really became intense, but by the time the wreckage of the Titan was discovered on the ocean floor, the fate of the crew was already known. Such a tragic loss of life led the world to wonder what went wrong. Was it an accident or the result of some deeper, more systemic issue? Let us dig up the theories about what may have happened. But before jumping to conclusions, there are facts and evidences one must consider first. Thus, here are some possible reasons. The most discussed theory is failure because of the structure. The carbon fiber and titanium are the materials that formed the Titan submersible, built into pressure resistance at such a depth. Some flaws in its design were pointed out by the critics. The lightness of carbon fiber sometimes comes with cracks or fractures due to stress, even when it has the extreme crushing weight exerted by the ocean at such an extreme depth. These theories hence will come to propose that possibly the structural failure could be due to implosion. The pressure will build up such that it soon collapses, and this might take just a few milliseconds when the pressure building within becomes much intense. That piece of wreckage of the submersible recovered on the bottom floor shows that they got destroyed close to no time and hardly leaving room for people to even escape. Carbon fiber and titanium are both very strong, but whether the submersible has been tested enough for such extreme conditions, according to the experts, has thrown about questions. Whether it has been reasonably approached by the company in building the submersible while building it has brought claims that the material used was inappropriate for such deep-sea conditions. It could also be implosion due to a design flaw or due to insufficient testing. The second theory is that of a communication system failure. The Titan had a satellite communication system, and therefore there was the potential for contact to be established between the crew of the Titan and that on the surface. Indeed, there were already some communications-related issues that predated the dive. Some described it as a problematic system, or simply as having stopped working. A complete system collapse during the dive would then ensure that the crew is either dazed or left unable to alert others. Now we would like to pose the question: why did they carry on the dive even with probable communication failures? According to some experts, perhaps the crew felt that it was operating on false security premises, that everything was going all right, or that communication failure is an occupational hazard in deep-sea research. But we know that is a dangerous assumption, especially when you are working with an operation as crucial and dangerous in one of the most hazardous areas on Earth. Human error, the other theory. Let's face it, even the best designed tech can be flopped at operations. The Titan submersible did have an experienced pilot, but there had been times the vessel had been run by less experienced people. Overconfidence may have been there in the pilot or the company that caused some critical safeties to be overstepped or some shortcut taken. Speculations go even on to such a statement of probable facts that probably passengers pushed those operators to this excess length of risking everything, perhaps just to make this voyage more adventurous or perhaps exclusively different. When this happens, things start getting extremely vague about how the thrill for adventure versus security was concerned, because once the situation begins with wrongdoings. Let's talk about a very relevant and pertinent role to this case that includes corporate pressure and oversight. The OceanGate-owned Titan Submersible. As privately funded and run, the pressure said to be this vast, so the costs and financially, in a way with financial aims and performance, became of major significance, that all this with such emphasis to innovate and earning became the frontline ideas promoted at OceanGate, with which the venture set for underwater research. Reports are also coming from employees and ex-staff about improper safety measures implemented within it and how it was designed. Some have even accused the company of bending some regular safety norms, and perhaps materials and systems installed in submersible were not adequately tested. In such a situation, this may point towards systemic malfunction within the company. Now the aftermath. The world was shocked by this tragedy, but more shocking is the lack of action before. Clear warning signs, from concerns over the design of the vessel to reports of communication issues, and ignored or brushed aside. This is a very hard reminder that cutting corners in such high-risk industries as this can prove catastrophic. The unfortunate tragedy did not leave OceanGate behind. It is still involved in several probes on its operations, but I can say a lot of things that are just unanswered questions left. Is it just a freak accident? Is this the reason? Deeper and profound problems at the company leading to that kind of accident? We have learned everything in this chapter. However, one very important deduction would be the following: deep sea exploration is fascinating but relatively risky. The oceans are unyielding, harsh environments at any time on Earth and at all points of the Earth. No matter how advanced and sophisticated technology can make an expedition allegedly safe, companies promote innovation, and not at the cost of safety. The Titanic submersible reminds us of catastrophes happening in disaster by cutting corners either in the technology or the business. We must in the future balance adventure with responsibility. Space or the deep sea, it is an exploration probe launch, and a dive into the deeper sea should be done with caution and respect for the risks. It's a tragedy of the Titan submersible, but to all of us as we dwell in this technological world which grows with every waking day, to not forget lessons learned. Thanks for watching, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more contents like this.